Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I update the case of the Tic Tac UFO sightings involving Commander Fravor in light of the 60 Minutes interview featuring other naval aviators who witnessed UFOs? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. I'll start by reviewing the Tic Tac UFO sightings and other similar sightings. I'll move to the 60 Minutes interview, then I'll offer my analysis. So starting with the review of the Tic Tac UFO sightings. In 2004, a Navy commander named David Fravor was flying his unarmed F-18 Super Hornet off the coast of San Diego as part of a training exercise. He was sent to investigate an unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAP, that was picked up on radar. There was another aircraft with him. I'm just going to refer to UAPs as UFOs. That's a term that I think is much more common. UAP is used by the military. Everyone else pretty much uses UFO. When the aircraft arrived near the UFO, Commander Fravor saw a large disturbance in the water and a flying object that he described as a Tic Tac. After the object engaged in some incredibly high-speed maneuvers, it disappeared and reappeared 60 miles away. The object was never identified. A video of that encounter was released, and 2 other videos were released as well for encounters that occurred in 2014 and 2015 that involved other pilots. Commander Fravor has publicly discussed his experience from 2004 and appears to believe the Tic Tac object was of alien origin. Obviously, a Navy commander would normally be considered highly credible, and he has repeatedly indicated that he's not a conspiracy theorist. But then there's this whole alien part, which has some people a little unsure of what to make of him. Many people believe the commander is telling the truth, but wonder if perhaps there is another explanation for what he saw. Some people were simply waiting for some type of public corroboration from another pilot who was with him. That desire was fulfilled on May 16, 2021, when a 60 Minutes interview was released featuring a pilot that was with Commander Fravor. The interview featured Lieutenant Alex Dietrich. This is the first time that she publicly spoke about the incident. Another pilot was also featured in the same episode. His name is Lieutenant Ryan Graves. He claims to have seen many UFOs on the East Coast around 2014. Graves has nothing to do with the Tic Tac UFO sightings, and Graves has publicly talked about his experiences on prior occasions. This wasn't his first time giving an interview. I'll start with what Alex Dietrich indicated in her interview, then I'll move over to Graves. Dietrich indicated she saw the same object that Fravor saw. When watching her interview, it's clear that, at the time, she really struggled to believe what she was seeing, like as it was happening in 2004. She just couldn't make any sense out of it. She talked about how, if she saw it alone, she probably would not have said anything to anyone. Both Fravor and Dietrich appeared to be sure that what they saw was some type of aerial vehicle which was being intelligently directed. I didn't really get the sense that they believed this was a light reflection, a weather balloon, or something like that. It's worth noting, however, that Dietrich made no mention of it being an alien craft. She didn't specify what she really thought the vehicle was. Both pilots filed reports which made their way to the Pentagon, only to be met with skepticism. If I had to guess, I would say that the Pentagon officials probably believed that the pilots saw something, like they believed the pilots were being honest, but did not believe that what they saw represented technology from another country or another planet. Lieutenant Dietrich has nothing to gain from lying. It actually seemed as though she was quite apprehensive about telling her story. She's not someone who is looking for fame, not someone who really wants to be sitting next to Commander Fravor on television. She does not strike me as the type of person who will be attending a UFO convention in the near future. Now moving to the interview with Lieutenant Ryan Graves. Lieutenant Graves said that he saw UFOs, which of course he referred to as UAPs, hovering over restricted airspace southeast of Virginia Beach in 2014. He only discovered the UFOs after the radar in his aircraft was updated. Graves said that the UFOs were captured on radar and infrared. Graves encountered these UFOs every day for at least 2 years. Apparently, the Pentagon confirmed that UFOs had been in the area. Graves said he does not know what the objects are. He noted they could be secret United States technology or from another world, but he thought the most likely explanation was that the objects were foreign aircraft. Graves was worried about the possibility the UFOs were spy vehicles. He believes they represent a security threat to the United States. There's no indication that he was worried about aliens. Just like Commander Fravor and Lieutenant Dietrich, Lieutenant Graves is highly credible. The New York Times interviewed him and 4 other Navy pilots who said the same thing, but only one other pilot was on the record along with Graves. Even still, the most hardened skeptic would still have trouble dismissing the narratives from all of these pilots. These pilots must have seen something. The question, of course, is, what did they see? Now moving to my analysis. UFOs have been reported by many people over the course of many years. They are not a new phenomenon. The majority of the sightings can be explained without requiring aliens, or for that matter, without requiring aircraft from foreign countries. Most sightings have fairly mundane explanations. Civil aircraft, military aircraft, drones, blimps, weather balloons, kites, windborne debris, birds, stars, planets, meteors, satellites, re-entering space debris, clouds, instrumentation failure like malfunctioning radar, light reflections, and optical illusions. People often think of vision as supplying an exact representation of one's environment, but that's not accurate. The majority of what people see does not actually emit light. Rather, it reflects light. Whenever light is reflected, there is distortion. Optical processing is complex. When somebody talks about what they see, they are really talking about not just indirect or direct light, but their perception based on their brain filling in the gaps from context, prior experiences, and information from other senses. What one person perceives by looking at something can be much different than a person standing next to them. Visual perception can be influenced by fatigue, stress, and a number of optical illusions like autokinesis. That's a tendency of a stationary point of light to be viewed as moving when it's in front of a dark, empty background. Other explanations could be based on misinterpretation due to underlying cognitive and affective dispositions. That is, people can misinterpret data based on fear, suspicion, paranoia, or other feelings like hope. People may be misinterpreting what they see or captured on instruments because they have been biased by prior reports of UFOs and their belief that UFOs must be of an alien origin. Continuing with my analysis, let's take a look at the credibility of the naval aviators. Are they telling the truth? I think that they are. I think that they actually did see something unexplained. Other than the fact that they are officers in the Navy, there's another important factor that bolsters their credibility. None of them have made claims about seeing UFOs in another context. They have just the one experience, or that type of experience in the case of Graves, who saw the same thing repeatedly, and that's it. All of them saw UFOs from inside the cockpit of a military aircraft. No one is saying they saw UFOs while they were at home, on their drive to work, nothing like that. Also, the reports are restricted to seeing UFOs and capturing them on instruments. They weren't saying they talked to aliens, met up with aliens after work to catch a movie, or anything like that. These aviators are atypical UFO reporters. They are unlike most people who claim to see UFOs. We know from research that people who report UFO sightings tend to share a number of characteristics. They are more likely to have cognitive disorganization, paranoid ideation, poor employment history, and social, family, and financial dissatisfaction. The profile of a typical UFO reporter has led to a negative stereotype of this group. It might explain why Lieutenant Dietrich was reluctant to come forward. She did not want to be thought of as unstable or untrustworthy. It may also indicate that there are other aviators out there who have seen UFOs who have not come forward. If Fravor, Dietrich, and Graves are all credible, and they are all telling the truth, does that mean that the UFOs must be alien in origin or deployed by the military of a foreign government? No. I think the most likely explanation is probably far less exciting. There are a few similarities between the West and East Coast sightings that really stand out here. Both involve pilots who are looking through not only the window of their aircraft, but also through their helmets. Many opportunities for reflections and distortions. Both occurred over the ocean. Why would aliens or a foreign government be interested in the oceans? Is the planet Earth like SeaWorld for aliens? They only come here to see aquatic life. Both occurred after radar upgrades were made to the aircraft and surface vessels. It's also worth noting that some of the encounters between Navy pilots and UFOs were only recorded on radar and/or infrared. The pilots did not see the objects visually. I'm not talking about the aviators I've discussed here, but other aviators. Some other aviators have said they didn't actually see the objects, again, just captured them on radar or infrared. Pilots are taught to trust their instruments, so it makes sense that they would have a lot of faith in the accuracy of radar and infrared. Other than the potential implications of this story, like alien life or advanced technology from a foreign government, I think the response it has brought out from the public is fascinating. On one side, there are diehard skeptics who are infuriated that there's been all this focus on a few unexplained events, as if they prove something extraordinary. On the other side, there are a number of people who are convinced the story offers proof of alien life. The one key missing element of many UFO reports was a credible witness. Now there are several credible witnesses. One component of the mystery, the concern about deception, has been removed. This leaves people feeling as though they are getting closer to proving aliens are out there. I think the alien narrative is compelling because it speaks to an existential issue. People are hoping that perhaps aliens know the meaning of life or have the answers to other fundamental philosophical and scientific questions. What a letdown it would be if people encounter aliens and ask them about the meaning of life, and the aliens respond, "We don't know. We thought you would know." All this talk of aliens is certainly exciting, but I think we need more information before planning a Welcome to the Planet festival for aliens. I'm curious to see where this investigation leads us. The result could be something as mundane as a Canadian goose carrying a mirror. So maybe it's like a vain goose, like it wants to always be able to see itself or whatever. Something as serious as a spy drone operated by a foreign government, like this could reveal frightening technology that perhaps hostile operators have access to, or something as novel as an ocean-loving alien who is on a vacation, right? They just want to see the whales, dolphins, and other sea life. Only time will tell. Those are my thoughts on the Tic Tac UFO sighting update. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be interesting. Thanks for watching.